Hey guys, so welcome back to another bot protection guide that I'm going to be doing. So this is going to be a bot protection guide, and the basics of bot protection is you have sites like Kith, Concepts, and many other Shopify sites that use bot protection. And with bot protection changing, I'll try to keep updating this guide if we do see any more changes. So first I'm going to start off with proxies. For proxies, I like to use a good amount of resis with also some ISP DCs that don't get hit by proxy protection because DCs are always faster for Shopify and speed is really everything with Shopify. So for profiles, I just run a variety of all my different profiles, and for tasks, for harvesters actually, I just used checkpoint, and try to use a 2-to-1 ratio, so 2 checkpoint, 1 regular, because you really want to be pumping out as many checkpoint solves as possible. That's how you get those regular solves to help you check out. And so task-wise, mainly my delays that I like to run is give or take 4500, 4500, and that's if I'm running for preload, I'll start with 4500. And so with safe, I'll also start with 4500, and right before the drop, 30 seconds before, I'll drop down to 3500, and then depending on how many proxies I'm running that day, I might also drop down to 2500 if I have a lot more proxies. And so the basic setup for this will just be you get your site, then you get your kit EL, so kit.com/product slash EH1 that. So that's your EL, and I would recommend really running ELs for all these modes for all these bot protection drops because ELs are always just going to be consistently faster. But if you don't have any sort of EL or can't find a way to get one, keywords are always great. So profiles run a mix. For sizes, I just run random. For task mode, you really want to go with safe and preload. And the thing is, for restocks, safe will automatically convert to a restock mode task, while preload, I'm not so sure about that one. But what I like to do is just run a mix of mainly preload for the regular drop, and then edit all my tasks to safe mode and then restart them just to make sure that there's no issues or anything. And pretty much run a mix of those two. For initial, run more preload and run a few safe. But for restocks, I would push mainly towards running safes. And then you use proxies here, depending on the site. If they have a account thing, you select your accounts. I know Concept Undefeated, you need accounts. And number of tasks, pretty much, I like to vary it up. So I like to run most of my tasks, like 50 of my tasks on preload, and then run like 25 on safe. And then for shipping rates are always good, faster checkout. And now let's go to the special part. So the special part is pretty much task groups. What I like to do is just like with non-bot protection, where I would split up into groups, the safe mode tasks and the preload tasks. For this, I would split up by store. So I know with Kith, we've been seeing a lot of payment error issues, and I'm pretty sure that's been fixed. But it's always good to run different sites with Nebula, especially those bot protection sites, in case there are issues. So on default, like I would run all my Kith tasks here, then have concepts on here, and then have another one where it'd be like DTLR, Jimmy Jazz, and all of that. So pretty much once I would run Kith and Concepts first because I know those two get the most stock, and Concepts is actually pretty easier to bot compared to Kith, and because it's just less bots run on it because Concepts is a really overlooked site, but they do get a solid amount of stock for most of these drops, which is really good. And what I like to do is just start them both and make sure that I have multiple harvesters open so I can solve all of these. And then Kith, if it's like a really low Kith drop, like if there's really low stock and Kith is dropping, but also Concepts is dropping, I'll just like prioritize running Concepts because I know Concept is a site that's very overlooked, and you would go for that over there. And also purging cache, I just do that to make sure I'm safe, and mainly make sure you're running those shipping rates. Shipping rates would be right here, settings. Shipping rates would be right here. And mainly with Nebula, I guess the best way to hit is especially being adapting. So let's say Kith dropped, Kith doesn't have a lot of stock, and you see that like it's like a lower key drop and there's not a lot of stock. I would prioritize running concepts. And running mainly more of these sites which are overlooked will help you get the most checkouts. And I think with Kith especially, make sure you're running a variety of profiles because they do cancel heavy. Concepts I haven't seen cancels, and I've checked out 2 to 3 on the same profile, and just overall be very adapting. So with Nebula, you can really, as long as you're staying adaptive, if there's a site change or something like that, or let's say Kith is uh, initial is going to be a little shaky. So I'll run concepts and then I'll run restocks on Kith because I know Nebula especially hits a lot of restocks on Kith. And pretty much to end off, pretty much just make sure you're adapting with Nebula. Nebula's really has it. You have all the performance there. Just make sure you're changing up your setups depending on what the drop is, and do a little bit of your own research to see what the drop is, how stock is going to be, and that's how you should come up with your setup. Thanks for watching.